Thank you for staying with us. With less than 16 days for President Bola Tinubu to submit his cabinet list to the National Assembly as recommended by the Constitution, lawmakers and other Nigerians are anxiously waiting for the list of ministers who would help to deliver the president's renewed hope agenda. The cabinet, which is a critical group and also a constitutional creation, is designed to assist the president and governors with advice, coordination, and policy direction. As President Tinubu consults stakeholders, many Nigerians are hoping that this administration would create an enabling environment that will make life better for its citizens. Joining us via Zoom from Kebbi State is Secretary, Kebbi State Association for Peace and Good Governance, Comrade Usman Anache. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Comrade.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Right. The president has said that his government will be a government of national competence as against government of national unity. Now Nigerians are awaiting the list of those who will make up his cabinet. What are your expectations stemming from what he has said with regards to those who will make up his cabinet?
What I'm expecting is what exactly I'm seeing, because the President of the Federal Republic, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is matching his word with action. In the few months, 2 months ago, we have seen the caliber of the president we have elected. We have seen the actions that cannot be taken by the previous administrations were boldly taken. So we are expecting that actually from what we have seen so far, that the actions, the selection he is going to make will be the best for the country. And there will be service delivery, not like in the previous administrations of sitting and warming the chairs in the Abuja. Some ministers that doesn't even know why they are there. So from all indication, this is the right man that Nigeria needs. You know, right from the inception, before the election and during the election, the Nigerians yearning, not asking or not praying for just a party president, but they are praying for the best president. God should give them the best, because they have seen the implication of praying for one person to be on the mantle. They have seen the implication of that. That is why in 2023, they left everything to God and they pray for Allah to give them the best president, not just the one they want, but the one that need the country, that the one that can move the country forward, the one that can make impact on the life of Nigerians. We have a lot of things, we have a lot of expectation, and we are hoping from what we are seeing that the ministers that Mr. President is going to appoint will not be people or customers of EFCC, or those who engage in money laundering, who engage on any illegal activities. In fact, we are not expecting any of the ministers of the previous administration to come back. Maybe only those who can be trusted by the president. So we are expecting a very good selection of ministers from what we have seen in the past 2 months of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which, to my own opinion, has exceeded the 8 years of previous administration. Yes.
All right, comrade. Nigerians are expecting what some people will refer to as technocrats. You know, people who are thoroughbred professionals in their various respects. That is the kind of picture Nigerians are having. But there is also the issue of compensating those who have worked to ensure the party wins the election. So if we juxtapose this together, I wonder what kind of challenge the president is going to face in coming up with the cabinet that Nigerians will all be satisfied from the party lines and also from those who feel or wish that it is time to bring people who know how to engineer the economy and engineer the country as a whole.
Yes. You know, under democratic dispensation, you have to marry the two together. You have to look at the political side and your politics ambition and your party issues and the people that surrounded you. Then you have to also look at the nation. Is it that you are going to bring just the party members that are not experts, that cannot perform, to just come and did as usual? What we have seen is that from all indication is going to bring an expert on the board. We are not saying that politicians should not be included, because there must be a political ambition always during the democratic dispensation. But what we are expecting is, and what we know, and what we are sure that Mr. President is going to make, is he is going to mix up with experts, technocrats that are experts in their fields that can perform. And some of the politicians, you know, that before, what we usually do is this, what is usually is the best is this: you mix the experts. There are some areas that you have to use those who know those areas. Areas like central bank, areas like finance, areas like power, the critical areas like security, the critical areas of the nation, you have to use the experts. You don't just use any politician just because it's a party member. That is why we have a problem in the previous administration. So they appointed just the party members without selecting the expert. Although the previous administration took time, almost a year or more, before appointing the ministers, but at all in vain. But this time around, hopefully, and from what we are seeing, I told you, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to make a good selection with the experts, even from what they are sending on social media, even though it is not the actual. You will know that from the line of there, it was there. What we are appealing to Mr. President is that the former governors who hopefully failed and who doesn't have anybody in their own areas, and who even failed their constituencies, failed their local governments, failed their states, should not come near to Mr. President, because they are total failure. We have such problem in so many states. We have governor states in the states, squander the states, reverse the states back to the colonial era. In fact, destroy even the little structures they have made. My state is one of the examples of those states in Nigeria. So we don't want to reverse back. We have seen what the appointment of politicians reverse Nigeria back to colonial era within 8 years. That Mr. President has to put more extra effort in order to revive this country and make the Nigeria working again, and make the Nigeria as a new Nigeria. And we pray for Almighty Allah to guide him and lead him in a way that this Nigeria will be okay for everybody, and it will be better for even our unborn generation.
All right. We need to quickly put you on hold because we need to go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Do stay with us. All right. Thank you for staying with us. So before we went on the break, we were talking about the ministerial list of the president, which a lot of Nigerians are waiting for. And our guest we have been speaking with is Comrade Usman Anache, Secretary, Kebbi State Association for Peace and Good Governance. Now, Comrade, you mentioned something earlier talking about trust, that based on some of the appointments the president have made, you can see that trust is critical to the appointments that he has made over time. Now, how critical also is this aspect of trust in some of the selection he would make? That's on the one hand. Then there's also the aspect of ensuring square pegs in square holes, where it is not business as usual. You also mentioned that earlier. And Nigerians are saying that in this aspect of our lives, in this season of our lives in the country, every sector is critical. And so we must ensure that no portfolio happens to have a round peg in a square hole. What do you say to that?
Yes, on trust. Mr. President should trust the people that has people in their mind, that carry their people along. This is new Nigeria with the new president. So if you observe it, the people he should trust are those with the people at the grassroots, are those assisting people, since he wants to move the Nigeria forward. For example, the chairman of Progressive Governance Forum failed his state, failed his district, senatorial district, failed even his local government and what. So these are some of the people that the president should not trust, because this clearly indicated that they are not with their people. If they are with their people, they will have won their local government, even the local government, even the ward was failed. And he was the chairman of the Progressive Governance Forum of the previous administration. So you can see. So the people that are politically relevant to the people, economically relevant to the people. Let me mention them, please. Look at in my own state, for example. When you look at the senatorial, he moved from the ruling party just almost close to the election to the opposition party, and people moved with him. The incumbent government that was there for 8 years failed. So now these are the people that failed that are now roaming about with the president, that they want this, they want that. And the people are even spreading rumors that they will be appointed, they have been submitted for screening. No, the president should put the people that will move this country forward, that has this country at heart, that want to serve, not to be served. Because when you look at look at the Nasarawa state, where the chairman of the ruling party come from. They won their governorship election, but look at the votes for the presidential election. So not there. So these are some of the criteria that we analysts want the Mr. President to look at in selecting the people that he trusts, in selecting the people that has people at their own levels, in selecting that people that have touched the people's life. So these are the kind of the ministers we want to see for Mr. President to appoint, not just people that come and start making noise. Look at Zampara. The governor spent 4 years. He got the government free of charge from the litigation of the other party, which is not even party too, and he was being sworn in. And look at what happens. Just 4 years, he was defeated by somebody coming in now. So how can you now expect this type of person that doesn't have the aspiration and the yearning of some people to be a minister representing the state? Although the Constitution gives the president right to appoint each one minister from each state, but in selection, we want him to select the people that are with people, the people that are motivated, the people that are touching the people. We are tired of seeing the people that are only coming there to siphon the money, to siphon the treasury, to make empty treasury, spending 8 years without single capital project in the state.
All right,
it's very shameful.
All right, comrade, when it comes to selecting those who will be ministers, it is totally the prerogative of the president, and he decides from when and whom he wants to select. Now, I'd like to ask this question. There are members of the opposition who are not APC members who maybe through their action or their inaction, one way or the other, helped to ensure that the party won the election in their states and all of that. And some persons have been calling for compensation for people like that who, from outside of the party, worked in collaboration with the party somehow to win elections. And if the president decides to have members of the opposition in his cabinet, what do you think about that?
Yes. If the opposition party members were seen as capable hands that can deliver, and some of them has been tested. In fact, Mr. President is not new. He was governor from 1999 to 2003. He was senator. So even his wife was a senator. So I think what I'm thinking of that, including the opposition is not a problem. Right from the beginning, the president said this government is all-inclusive government. So if the opposition can deliver, if from the opposition party we can have people that can deliver, that have people at heart, there is not any problem in Mr. President appointing from the opposition. Compensating the politicians is not what's supposed to be as appointing them as ministers, just to compensate them from their own political jamboree. So to me, from all angles, from all parties, the president should select the best for the country, as he is now seen as the best and the one of the best that, from all indications, will move this country forward. Look at what happened in ECOWAS. This is the president that said he wants to see the Africa moving. He matched his word with action by opening the land borders. In the north, we have only the land borders. The previous administration closed all the borders. So when you close the border and you said you are integrating the African continent, you are just saying it. But this president said he is integrating Africa and then he opened the land borders. So you see, this is what we are saying. Now, in the custom, you have seen what you have seen before, where a military policeman was appointed the DG of custom.
Comrade.
We were supposed to have a succession plan. So you can see what happens now. Mr. President just appoints a custom officer from the custom service.
Comrade,
So
can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. We have limited time, so I need to ask this question before we wrap things up with you. You mentioned inclusion earlier, and Nigerians are also looking forward to gender balance with regards to these appointments. What are your expectations? That's on the one hand. And then on the other hand, some Nigerians do not even remember some of the ministers who held some portfolios. So what will be your message to those who make the final list?
Those who make the on gender base, Mr. President should appoint some. It should include some women because the majority of the women are trustworthy. Even when you have taken a loan, you see that women are paying their loan back more than the men. So he can put competent women in the cabinet that can deliver. On the other hand, of the expectation of the ministers, we are expecting them to serve the nation, not to serve themselves, as we have seen before, not to be looted indiscriminately, just because, in fact, let them loot. Somebody is in charge now. It's not like as business as usual. It's no more business as usual, like where you load anything you want to load and the president cannot even look, cannot even say anything, can just leave you, maybe with the cabal or mafia, taking over everything. No, we have seen what happens in the previous 2 months. And God willing, this president is going to deliver.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Comrade Usman Anache, Secretary, Kebbi State Association for Peace and Good Governance. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.